Hi Pre-Prep, this is Miss Graham. Today I wanted to talk a little bit more about our 3D shapes and figure out what 2D shapes they are made out of. So, we remember that yesterday we talked about our sphere, we talked about our cube, we've talked about our cylinders, we've talked about our rectangular prisms, and we've talked about cones. But, my friends, when we think about all of these shapes in real life, if we actually look at the sides of the shapes, we can see that they're made up out of different 2D shapes. So today I wanted to use a little bit more of my recycling collection that I have. And I also just found some other things that I had at home. And I'm going to use my marker and a piece of paper. And I'm going to trace the sides of my 3D shapes to figure out what 2D shapes they're made of. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this. I'm going to tilt my camera down so you can see. I'm going to put my paper on my table. And I'm going to start with my Clif Bar box. Or, if I were to think about it in geometry, my rectangular prism. So I'm noticing that this side is pretty square and this side is pretty rectangular. But I can look at it a little more clearly. If I take my marker, I'm going to put my box on my paper and I'm going to trace right around the edges. So I have one side, two sides, 3, and 4. And when I pick it up, oh, I have a perfect square. So one side and the other side, two sides of my box are squares. But let me see about the edges of here. I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, so now I can see very clearly that these are rectangles. It has 2 skinny sides and 2 long sides, and that means that it's a rectangle. Now, I'm going to take a look at something else that I have. I'm going to take a look at my softball. It's my sphere, right? So I can see that it's a circle, but in real life it's a sphere. It's a ball shape. So I'm going to put that right back on my paper, and I'm going to do my very best to trace right around it all the way to see if I can get its shape, its two-dimensional shape. When I pick it up, it's a little wonky looking, but I can see it's one curve that goes all the way around. It reminds me of a circle. Now, let's keep going. I'm noticing in my collection, I have a little bottle top. So I'm going to do this again. I'm going to trace this side of it, and I'm noticing it's a curve that goes all the way around. So it has a circle on the bottom, just like my softball, but I'm noticing this part on this side, it's a bit of a different shape. So I'm going to do my best to try to trace that. So I have one side, two sides, 3 sides, and 4 sides. So I'm realizing that my little bottle cap has a circle on the bottom, but if you look at the edge of it, it kind of reminds me of a rectangle. I'm going to try this again with a different cylinder and see if I can get a better tracing. I know that my paper towel holder is a cylinder as well, right? It has 2 circles, 1, 2, and it has some straight sides. So I'm going to take a look and see if I can fit this on my paper. I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, look at that. When I pick up my cylinder, I can see that the sides of it is actually a rectangle. This one's a long and skinny rectangle. But let me double check my edges again. I have one circle on this side. Yep, and let me see this other side too. So I have one circle over here. So I can have my two circles and my long skinny rectangle with my paper towel holder. Now, I'm going to try one more item from my recyclable collection, and it's this bottle that I have. Now, it's not a perfect cylinder, but it kind of reminds me a little bit of a cylinder. I don't know if it's going to come up with a perfect shape, but we can try. I'm going to do the bottom, and I'm going to do the top first. So let's take a look. My bottom. It's a pretty big circle. Now let me see about my top. It's a little bit of a smaller circle. Now, I'm going to do my best to try and trace the edges of this if I lay it down. I don't know what shape it's going to give me, but let me at least give it a try. So I'm going around the edges, and then I have the little top. And then let's come back this way. And I'm connecting it down here. So this really isn't a perfect shape this way, but we can see it almost looks like it's two rectangles. There's a wider rectangle over here, a skinnier one over here. But what I can see in this recyclable is that it does have two good circles. So, my friends, I hope you have fun at home with your collections and tracing the edges to see what all of the shapes are that make up all of the things that we have. Have fun!